Loftia is a new cozy MMO that managed to raise over 1.25 million US dollars in funding on Kickstarter. Similar to Palia, it completely forgoes combat, but places a much stronger focus on cooperation between players. Together, players are meant to further develop a huge city and solve various puzzles. The game is being developed, among others, by a former raid leader from World of Warcraft, who at some point longed for a balance to all the stress in her main MMORPG. That's how the idea for Loftia was born. What exactly defines this MMO, how far along development currently is, and what the release situation looks like? We talk about all of that here in this video. Work on Loftia began in early 2022, and originally only 5 people were involved. By now, the team has grown to more than 30 employees. Their goal is to develop a game that thousands of players can enjoy together set in a Solarpunk world. Solarpunk describes a utopian future in which humanity cooperates on all levels and takes care of the environment. Accordingly, renewable energy plays an important role in the setting, but technological progress in general is also very important. This isn't implemented in a boring way. The core idea is that the entire city and the clouds must work together to unlock new features and improve living conditions. For example, you can build a massive metro system that connects different parts of the city via fast travel. However, enough power must first be generated to do so. That requires new research, grinding materials, and sometimes clever minds. To obtain certain resources and advancements, puzzle dungeons, so-called cave explorations, must be completed. These can be entered in groups of up to 10 players, but there is no combat involved. Instead, gameplay is more like Portal or Fall Guys, focusing on puzzles and small challenges. Story elements are also told through these instances to keep them interesting. For these massive mega projects within the city, not only does the community need to work together, but different types of players are also required. Those who don't want to deal with such large-scale events all the time can instead pursue a variety of single-player activities. Here, Loftia draws inspiration from classic housing systems like in Palia. You can build, decorate, befriend your neighbors, and even create your own gardens. There was a major update to these gardens in September 2025, introducing community farming, which allows players to plant gardens together. Players can also follow various professions or take part in minigames. Already showcased are jobs like waiting tables, cutting hair as a hairdresser, or Don't Drop the Ball, a chaotic minigame where participants throw balls to each other and must not let them fall. In addition, there will be gathering and crafting systems, pets, mounts, and a colorful mix of activities. As for world areas, each zone is intended to host at least 150 players. Whether significantly more will be possible is still uncertain, which is why the developers describe the game as more of a medium multiplayer online game. There will also be multiple servers with different progression states, which you can switch between for free. What's important is that you can always play together with your friends. As is typical for cozy games, you'll also be able to befriend NPCs. However, at launch, there will be no romantic relationships. Loftia is planned to release on PC via Steam, Mac, and Nintendo Switch. In the long term, versions for other consoles and smartphones are planned, but the team wants to focus on those only after release. The MMO will be buy-to-play, meaning you pay once for the game itself. All future DLCs and updates will be released for free. Long-term funding will come from an in-game shop offering purely cosmetic items. So, how far away is that release? Since the end of 2024, regular alpha tests have been taking place. These are under NDA and only available to backers who bought certain Kickstarter packages. Over the past month, small updates from the alpha have been shared regularly, such as the new Drop the Ball minigame, graphical adjustments, or most recently in November, a redesigned UI. Originally, Loftia was planned to enter early access in 2025, but those plans have changed. Public beta tests are now scheduled for the first quarter of 2026, with participation limited to Kickstarter supporters. Early access is now planned for mid of 2026. That leaves the question you should be excited for Loftia, even though it doesn't really fit the mold of classic MMORPGs, mainly because it lacks a combat system. The idea of working together with many people on a massive project is fascinating without needing heavy organization. You can contribute without having to assemble groups or schedules. That's something you also know from world events and world bosses in Guild Wars 2. Lots of people together, little organization, and still a lot of fun. Whether Loftia will ultimately manage to implement all its plans is still uncertain. We've seen individual gameplay elements, but not yet a fully cohesive experience. Questions remain, such as how these massive mega projects actually work. Can you complete them in a reasonable amount of time? Do you work on them for months? Those are still completely open questions. Hopefully, we'll get some answers during the beta test in early 2026. What do you think about the concept of Loftia? Does this type of cozy MMO appeal to you, or do you absolutely need combat to have fun? Feel free to write it in the comments. Thanks for watching.